and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be filming a video that I have delayed making for a really long time. I'm going to be restocking pieces from my site that I absolutely hate making. They all have a lot of detail, and the reason why I hate making them is because they take a really long time to create. I'm not sure how long it will take me to make all of these necklaces. I might have to film this video over the course of a few days, but I'm going to try to make as many pieces as I can in one day. This is the first necklace that I'm going to be making, and I'm just starting by taking all of the beads that I'm going to need and putting them in this little plate. This necklace has lots of crystals, pearls, and flowers. This is the main crystal of this necklace. It's a little flower crystal, and this is what it's looking like. So now it's time to add some more pearls. These pink ones and a white pearl. These tiny little white pearls. This necklace just has so many beads. Because I put off making this necklace for such a long time, all of the Blossom Cascade necklaces that I had already made have all been sold, and I do not have a single one left in stock. So because I procrastinated, the only references I have are the product images on my website. So I'm just using those images to help me remember where each bead goes. I'm going to put these little pearls and iridescent beads off to the side because all of the pearls were rolling everywhere and I didn't want any more pearls rolling around, so I moved straight on to the wiring process. I'm just taking all of the beads and I'm making loops for them with my one-step looper. After I've made all the loops, I also like to go back in with my pliers to make sure that all of the loops are securely closed. This is a very important step, so I make sure to do it for each and every single bead. Now it's time to move on to these flowers. I realized that this bead literally does not have a bead hole. I'm always buying glass beads, so I know that it's not uncommon for some beads to be defected when ordering in bulk. So even though this was a little bit annoying, luckily I still had one flower bead left in my bead box. So that was good, because if I didn't have that one extra bead, then I would have had to abandon making this necklace. But we are now back to looping more beads. This necklace just has so many loops, but I finally finished making them all, so it's now time to move on to the next step, which is connecting everything together. So you might remember that these little beads were left on this plate, and it's now time to add these beads onto this necklace. I'm going to turn them into bead chains. So in order to do that, I will need to make a lot more loops. This time I'm making smaller loops because I want the bead chains to look very seamless. Here we have one bead chain all completed, and I didn't want to bore you with the long process of making these, so I just made the second one off camera. I love the way that bead chains look, so I love adding them to necklace designs, but this necklace design also has some chains, so I went ahead and cut some chain and added it onto the necklace. And there we have it. I also added these little pearls because I completely forgot about these pearls. Now it's time to finish off this necklace with some extension chain. This is the chain that I use for the extenders. I'm gonna cut out a very long piece for this necklace because I always like to give customers the option to wear my designs at a longer length in case they don't like short necklaces. This necklace sits at about a collarbone length without the extension chain. The moment when I finally get to close the necklace after spending hours making it is always the best part for me. But this is what the necklace looks like all completed. It is such a beautiful design, and even though it takes a long time to make, it is one of my favorites. Whenever this piece goes out of stock on my website, I always have customers and site visitors reaching out to me by email asking me when this piece is going to come back in stock. So I always try my best to keep this item in stock so that it will always be available when someone wants to place an order. So as you can probably tell by the blue morning lighting, it is day 2 of making necklaces. I was only able to restock one necklace yesterday, which is not a great start to be honest, but I'm going to try to make another piece today. I will probably make more of these necklaces off camera later in the week, but for this video, I think I'm only going to be making one honeybee flower necklace. This is almost the same process as the necklace that I previously made. I'm just going to make lots of loops. This time I'm using gold-plated stainless steel metal. As I was making this piece, I started really enjoying the process. Even though I've ranked the products that I'm making today as my least favorite to make, I still genuinely enjoy making jewelry. And I really don't know why I procrastinated making this necklace, because although the process is very repetitive, the variety of beads actually makes this necklace quite fun to create. Now it's time to add the little details to this necklace, like the flowers and the leaves and these little crystal drop beads. And now for my favorite part, the heart chain. This chain is so cute, but it's actually kind of sad cutting this chain because every single time this chain is cut, a little heart is divided into 2 pieces. Going to use this heart-shaped chain to connect the flowers to this necklace. Also going to cut out 2 extra pieces for some extra detail on each side of this piece. It's time to finish off this necklace by adding the clasp and the extension chains. So I always start by measuring the necklace so that I know that I've made it to the correct length. And then I cut out the extension chain, and here is the final product, all completed and now back in stock. The next necklace that I'm going to restock is this one, and this one is really pretty. This definitely is not going to be the final restock for this piece because it is one of my favorites. If a customer were to order this necklace and I didn't have this necklace ready to ship, then it would most likely take me several days to get their order out, which is why I really need to restock this piece so that that does not happen. I always aim to ship all of the orders from my website within 1 to 5 days. But if a piece is not ready to ship, then it really slows me down because I have to stop and make the pieces that have been ordered, which is why it's really important for me to keep all of the items on my website in stock. I do have a lot of pieces on my website, so it can be quite challenging to keep everything in stock. But I try to keep on top of things by restocking items when I can. So let's get started. For the Lotus Fairy necklace, I've decided to try to make as many as possible in one go. Doing everything in one go really does make such a huge mess. The cleanup process after filming this was massive, but it's all worth it because the end result is so pretty. Mostly all of the products on my website are made with beads and wire, so that is not the reason why I don't like making these necklaces. I think it comes down to the quantity of beads and the amount of wire that needs to be used to make one piece. But just because these necklaces are not my favorites to make, it does not mean that I don't want anyone to purchase these on my website. In fact, that would actually be kind of sad to not get any orders for these after spending the hours that I spent creating them. So if you do like any of the necklaces in this video, then please don't hesitate to head on over to my website and treat yourself or someone you love to some new jewelry. We need to take a moment to admire these crystals. They are real Swarovski crystals. This lighting is not doing them justice, but they are so pretty. I just went ahead and added the clasps. Now they're almost finished. It's just the extension chain that needs to be added. And I add a very long piece of extension chain to these necklaces as well. 4 inches. I think 4 inches is the maximum extension chain length that I can add to a necklace without it being visible from the front. If it's any longer than that, then while it's being worn, the necklace can move around your neck and the extension chain will be shown. Sometimes it can be a part of the necklace design, but for this piece that I'm making, I don't really want the chain to be visible from the front. So this, in my opinion, is the perfect length. This necklace takes a really long time to make because it's got a lot of little pieces of chain, and the chain that I used to create this necklace has very small links, so it's very fiddly to work with. Normally when I package this necklace, I like to stick it down with washi tape onto a necklace card so that it won't get twisted, because it twists really easily when it's not being worn. So this might be the final restock for this necklace. So I found this. This looks like a complete mess, and honestly it is. But actually I was so excited to find this because these are the pieces that I need to create the divine necklace. And this is going to make it so much easier for me to make this piece. These glass beads look like raindrops. They have this iridescent finish. And we also have these simple steel beads. I'm so happy that all of the little pieces of chain have already been cut, but normally if I was making this necklace from scratch, I would have to cut out each little piece of chain one by one. And then after I finished cutting the chain, I start working from the middle of the necklace. When it comes to making this necklace, correct placement is really important. Each link on the necklace chain needs to be counted so that I know exactly where to put each little bead. And if I don't count the links on the chain, then even if I'm one link off, the necklace will end up looking wrong, and it will just be off center if I don't count each link. So here I'm just adding each steel bead onto the chain one by one, and this entire time I was actually attaching them wrong, and I actually ended up having to redo this, but luckily I hadn't got that far. So yeah, I was using the wrong rings and the rings were sticking out because they were too big. So I redid it with some smaller rings, and now it's looking the way that it should look. So I'm really happy, and I'm making pretty fast progress actually, as everything is basically already cut. It's a lot easier and a lot faster to finish this necklace. Now it's the moment of truth. If I'm even just one link off, the entire necklace will have to be made again. So this is kind of like nerve-wracking, but what I do to check is I measure up the end pieces of chain and it's perfect. Every single piece of chain and every single bead was attached in the correct place. As I still have some chain and glass iridescent drop beads, I'm going to be making more of these necklaces throughout the week. That was all for today. I really hope you enjoyed watching me restock these necklaces for my small business. As always, the link to my shop will be in the description box down below if you would like to shop any of these pieces. If you did enjoy watching this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.